We will begin with the Municipal Building Authority meeting. It is November 14th, 2023. I am Gary Harekesi, the president of the MBA, and currently we have Councilwoman Cotter here and Councilman Rogers here.
And GL.
And we have
Brooke.
Our recorder, Brooke, and our executive director, Jennifer. And it looks like Councilwoman Turner is here as well. So we'll begin with a call to order and approval of the minutes for the Municipal Building Authority for the meeting September 19th, 2023. Were there any changes to the minutes?
None. That I saw.
Okay, I'll take a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for the Municipal Building Authority, September 10th, 2023.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Brooke, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Harekesi?
Aye. All right, moving ahead to our first business item. Consider a resolution of the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City adopting the regular meeting schedule for the calendar year 2024. Our Executive Director, Jennifer Kennedy, will be presenting.
Okay, in your packet, I have included the meeting for the Municipal Building Authority. You will meet on January 2nd to elect your Board of Trustees for the year. Then there'll be a meeting in May to adopt the tentative budget for fiscal year 24-25. You'll meet in June to adopt that budget, and then in November to adopt your new meeting schedule.
All right, are there any questions for Ms. Kennedy? All right, and Rosalba has joined us as well for the meeting. So hearing no questions or changes, I will take a motion.
I will make a motion to approve a resolution of the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City to adopt the regular meeting schedule for calendar year 2024.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Brooke, would you call the roll?
Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez? Aye. Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Harekesi?
Aye. Wonderful. Moving on to the second item, a discussion and consideration of the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City, Utah, authorizing the issuance and sale of not more than $25 million in aggregate principal amount of lease revenue bonds, Series 2024, and related matters. And Brenda Moore will be presenting.
Good evening. As you are aware, ComDev recently moved out of the, let me get this up. Recently moved out of the Public Services Building. As part of that, come on. Here we go. As part of that, they, Public Services did a study on the feasibility study on their building and their site and how it was working and will it work for the future. They hired a consultant for that, and then on May 16th, they presented the two alternatives. It was determined that the site as it exists currently barely meets the needs of it barely meets the needs for what they're doing now, and it will not meet the needs for the future. So they did two options. They came up with two plans.
Now I can see it.
And option A was to basically build a new building, demolish the old building, the old fleet building, an old sign shop, add a new fleet building, wastewater and stormwater building, and a new sign shop, relocate the natural gas station so it's in a better place so that we don't get public and public works people trying to be in the same location at the same time. And then do some more stuff with their drying beds. And if I could tell you what a drying bed was, I would, but I don't. You'd have to ask. You would have to ask Russ. So this is what the new facility would look like. The new admin building would be a single-story building. Right now, it's a two-story building that is way bigger than they need. The biggest and most important thing is the new admin building would stay up if there is an earthquake, and it would be seismically sound. It's my belief that, and I think everybody else would say, that Public Works is essential and that their buildings should be safe, and that they should be able to continue to function if we have an earthquake or a major disaster, and that the Fleet Building, the new admin building, the other buildings will exist, will not fall down. That is their most important thing for them, so that they can continue and go out and rebuild the city as needed in a case of an emergency. So in order to finance this, we have determined, after discussions with Stifel, our bond counsel, or our financial advisor, that the best thing to do for this would be lease revenue bonds. What that means is that this city would lease the ground that Public Works sits on to the MBA. The MBA would do these bonds, build the buildings and the surrounding facilities, and then lease those facilities back to the city or the Public Works people for basically the amount of the bond payment. And then the city itself would maintain the buildings. And at the end, when the bond is paid for, the buildings become property of the cities and the MBA is done. This was the financings that we used for Murray City Hall. And it's a really good way to finance this particular one because it's Public Works. Public Works consists of water, wastewater, stormwater, fleet, solid waste, and streets. So all 6 of those entities would be paying the rent or the bond payments. So a lease revenue bond, I kind of just went over that a little bit. The city leases the land to the local building authority. Then the local building authority does the bonding, leases the buildings back to the city. So that's why there was 197 pages of legal documents attached when Lizalba asked for all of them. Those are the leases going back and forth. They are the ground
I just want to
lease.
clarify, we should always review those and we should receive those.
So the process that we're going to go through now, the city adopts the municipal building authority. We already have one. It's been set up since the 90s. The city and the MBA adopt and authorize the bond parameters resolution, notice of bonds to be issued, and the notice of a public hearing. That's what the MBA will do. The MBA holds the public hearing, which will be scheduled for December 6th. The city, via the MBA, undertakes the bonding activities. We're going to draft a preliminary official statement, procure a bond rating. That's all me. Selling and closing on the bonds, and then the city will lease the project back from the MBA. The bond parameters, this is the maximum. So this is as much as we will do. I'm not anticipating that we will get up to a maximum par amount of 25 million, but that would be the maximum we would do for this project. The maximum interest rate, 6.5%. We're not anticipating it's going to be up that high either. Maximum term, 26 years. That will be a 25-year lease plus a few months here or there. 25-year bonds. Maximum discount rate, 2%. So we would not sell these bonds for less than 98% of par. Most likely, we will actually get a premium on them. So we will get more money than the par value. The designated officers. For the MBA, it's the chairman, the vice chairman, and the finance director. So whoever in January you pick as your chairman is going to get a hand cramp from all of the signing that they will be doing of all of those bonds. The city, the mayor pro tem, if the mayor happens to be out of town when we close these, and the finance director. So your MBA resolution that you have before you assigns delegates to act on behalf of the MBA for the Public Works project, authorizes the issuance of the bonds to finance the construction of the Public Works site, calls for a public hearing on the issuance of the bonds with the appropriate notices to be sent, and authorizes entering into a ground lease for the Public Works site with the city and a master lease agreement for leasing the facilities to the city. And then the city council resolution, which we will not go back over this again in city council meeting. We'll just skip right to, this is what the resolution is. Assigns delegates to act on behalf of the city for the Public Works financing project. Authorizes the issuance and sale of the lease revenue bonds by the MBA to finance the construction of the Public Works. And you say, why is the city authorizing that? The MBA cannot sell bonds without the city's approval. They're that connected to each other. Even though they are the same boards, I guess in some places they may not be. So the city has to authorize it. Authorizing entering into a ground lease for the Public Works site with the MBA and a master lease agreement for leasing the facilities back from the MBA. And these are all the disclosures from Stiefel because I borrowed their slides. So this is just a sample of the debt service schedule. You see the dots in the middle. Those are all the years that I just kind of hid. You'll notice that the first year, the fiscal total is a little higher than the others. That's because we will probably sell in January or early February. We will not make our first payment until November. Or December 1. So that's, just accrued interest on the thing, on the bonds. And then after that, it's approximately $1.4 million. Unlike a house loan, the payments aren't the same. They sell the bonds in $5,000 increments, so the payments can be different throughout the year, the different years. And they are anticipating, this is just our best guess, that the number you want to look at is the true interest cost, which is down there about 6 lines. It says 4.95. That is what you're looking for. That means we're going to sell these bonds hopefully for 5%. And we're hoping for this particular one, we were asking for a construction deposit of $20 million, which means that all of the fees for doing this would be paid for, and we'd have $20 million in the bank to do the project, and the par value would be $19,640,000. We'd sell them at a premium. And then, just as a sample of what everybody's payment would look for on those 7 funds, I just divided it up. We figured the best way to do it is not by the size of the building they need, because some of their equipment is really big, but they only have 1 employee. So we did it based on number of employees. And that would be, the $465,000 is what the general fund would have to come up with. The others would be, you can see them.
And does this potentially mean that you have to do increases in any of these
Yeah,
funds to cover this?
Just like everything else, we would have to make sure that we either blended this, we will have to blend this in with their stuff, and the next time they do a rate increase, this would be one of the costs that they're trying to cover.
So it would go into their budget?
Yes. I am pretty sure, I haven't done the exact math, but the $465,000, we could use transportation sales tax for that because that's for streets. We could also, that's the main one. I don't think we could use Class C to cover that, but we could use this transportation sales tax if we so choose.
Okay, thank you.
And then the others, they'd have to blend it into their rates. Some of them have already anticipated that this might happen, but we are doing rate studies. Every 5 years we do master plans and rate studies, and this will all, yes, the citizens are going to have to pay for it somehow. Do you have any questions, comments, anything I can do? I have with us today, we have Matt from Stiefel, They're our bond advisor, and Chanel. She's an attorney with Gilmore Bell, who is our bond counsel on this.
Remind me, what was the cost of option A?
The cost of option A 6 months ago was $17 million, and the cost of option B was probably $16.9 million. So
And option A was the preferred.
option A was the preferred because they get a brand-new building that is sized right, will be more energy efficient, and they don't need a 14,000 square foot building. They need a 6,000 square foot building.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions from the council or from the?
I'm wondering, is now the best time to bond?
There is probably no great time to bond. It's not the worst time. These are back up into the rates that before the 2008 housing crisis, we were doing 5% bonds all the time. You look at my old coupon rates on a lot of our bonds, it's 4% and 5%. The cost of construction is going up, so I don't know which is worse, paying 5% or waiting 3 or 4 years, if you know anything about municipal finance, there is no way we would ever save $20 million for a building. You just can't do it. And
And
the
I-
cost of construction is rising way more than 5% a year.
And I think too, the interest rate, is that at all dictated by what happens with the Fed rate and anything like that? Is there any correlation?
I'm guessing there's correlation.
Right, and the only reason I want to say that is because there's no plans to make any cuts in the near term. So with her point to cost of construction rising, it may become, you may just lose that much more by waiting potentially than the percentage you're going to save if the Fed in a year to 18 months decides to make a 0.25% cut or something
Yeah,
like that. It
gotcha.
just may not make a lot of sense.
And it's, I think it's important that we get our staff and our people in buildings that are safe and sized right and can do the job more efficiently. We have lots of equipment out there, or some equipment out there that is not housed in garages, which is, we have snow and winters, and they don't last as long if they're not stored indoors. And so I think it's just a good thing to get. We got this nice building now. Most of these guys, they've been working out there. We bought that building used in the early 90s and just made it do. Didn't remodel it a whole lot, didn't remodel anything a whole lot, and just made do. And I think the size of the trucks that the fleet is trying to do in a building that isn't sized for them, trying to repair, and it's difficult out there.
I guess it just concerns me, all this debt. We just built a new building. A new city hall, which I think we got for a great deal. I'm really pleased about that. And I don't know, it just worries me, all this debt. That's.
If you read the stats section of the financial statement we just put out, it says that the city legally could borrow up to $990 million before we hit our bid. I don't like the fact that we need to borrow another $20 million to build something. But what's going to happen is this thing's going to last 50 years. They're in stuff that is 40 to 50 years old, and it's just not working for them well. And so the best way to handle it now, because of inflation, is to get them there. We have never, I can't say we have never, but we usually refinance bonds before, we pay them off before the 30 years or the 25 years. If interest rates ever fall again, after, I think it's going to probably be a 10-year call, after 10 years, we could refinance it and maybe get it lower. I don't know.
But not for 10 years.
No, usually there's at least a 10-year call on these, because investors want to be guaranteed
Right.
a certain return, otherwise why would they buy them?
Certainly.
So,
Do we know how much, for sure, how much the building is going to cost? Do we have a bid?
they are working on it. Russ tells me it's not going to cost any more than $20 million.
Don't we?
There are some things that they could put off and do with current money if it gets to that point, like the beds, the dehydration beds or whatever they call them, the salt dome. There's a few of the little outlying things that if the $20 million won't cover it, we could go off of CIP money and take care of those after the rest of the facility. The important part's the buildings.
How much in bonds do we currently have?
I haven't added them up. The MBA has the 30 million for, he's got it. The MBA has the 30 million. We just did a $6 million loan for streets funded through something that the state legislature did, that $500,000 a year. That was one of the best things we ever did. Inflation's been at 5, 6, 10%. We're paying 1.8 on that interest. So yeah, we got a lot of streets projects done with that. Okay. City Hall's at 30 million. Outstanding sales tax bonds, we're at 14 million. We have 3 of them going right now. That one for roads, a fire station, and then the land that we're sitting on, and the land surrounding that the RDA bought. One of my suggestions will be is putting money aside from the RDA and paying those off as soon as we can call them. Water and sewer, I got it. Water and sewer, we're at, stormwater has 3.1 million sitting out there, and water and sewer has 9.5, is close. So, I mean, they're spread around. We've got quite a bit of
So
debt.
55 million-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
The water and sewer, they were done for specific projects. We might be coming back for other bonding, it depends. Power has a
Power,
whole
that's
lot
the
of
one that
stuff that
yeah.
needs to get done, and they're working on their master plans and stuff, and
So we're at about 55 million, and this would add another 20
Yep.
million to it. Okay.
And we could tolerate 99 million?
that's what the
900.
state does, and that's not what I say.
990 million.
$900 million, I don't have any idea why,
But that would be so irresponsible of us to.
Yes, you just have to realize that these buildings will last at least 25 years longer than the bond payments will. And I think they're gonna create something, it's not gonna be like this. Russ is gonna build an industrial building that does what his guys need to do and that looks good and that they can be proud of. And, but that works for the type of work that they do.
Can I jump in? And you know Russ, but I'm here to tell you, Russ would never have come and asked for this if it wasn't needed.
Yep.
Absolutely, he would have. And if we have an issue with earthquake and the building's not that safe. You've seen our building, Old City Hall?
Yeah.
Go visit theirs. It's worse.
No, I've
Oh,
not
it's,
been-
yeah, these guys have been living
been there.
in a heck hole. And I'm here to tell you, sure, are we concerned about the bonding? Absolutely. But I promise you, you'll be regretting that if there's a safety issue and we ignored it. It's huge safety issue.
And I just want to add that to the mayor. I sent an email off to someone, and they replied back to me, if we bond, we can build. If we don't bond, we cannot build. And we are building for the future employees that are going to be coming in to take the ones that are going to be retiring, and we want something safe for them, and earthquake safe. And so we need to do this.
My question, since I wasn't on the MBA back in May, was whether Public Works requested this or not, but the mayor answered that for me, so thank you.
Yes. The whole thing was Public Works' idea. I didn't hear about it until they were presenting it. And then I said in that meeting, the next time you'll see me back, we will be asking for the money to do it, because there's just, they don't have the reserves to do it, and it's impossible to save. Water has a bunch of projects they need to do, they all have projects that need to do. They will put this payment, this rent payment, into their plans, and we'll keep going.
So the lease agreement is $1 per month?
No, the ground lease, that the city is going to lease the ground to the MBA
Oh.
is listed at $1 per year. It's, you gotta put a
Yeah.
price, the lawyers say we have to put a price in there, so it's $1.
Well, so it's an exchange.
And then the rent that these people, the different funds will pay, Public Works will pay, will be equal to, might be a couple dollars more than the bond payments, and the amount that it costs us to just pay the debt service.
Okay. Clarify for me, maybe this is a question for Matt. How is it that this bond that we are looking at is tied into the City Hall bond? Because I did read that in those documents that were shared to me.
Do you want to answer?
Oh, yeah.
You want to answer? They're cross collateralized. So that, what that means is, these bonds, literally, if you don't pay the rent, if you don't authorize the rent every year, the bonds don't get paid, and the facility gets repossessed, okay? So,
I think you're talking something else.
no, this is what happens. Every year, I will present to you a budget, and this was what happens with City Hall. The city in the budget has a rent payment going to the MBA. If you decide not to make that rent payment for whatever reason of either the Public Works building or the city building, we lose them both.
Yeah, that was, okay,
It's
so I
either or.
understand that.
We don't lose one if you pay you can't pay the City Hall payment. You can't, and not pay the Public Works payment. If you miss one, you lose both properties.
Okay, so that's the reason why.
That's cross
It's stated
collateral.
that there's cross in term, yeah. Sorry,
Yep. Yeah.
is that correct? I mean, I had asked you about it, okay. So basically, this bond is essentially tied in with the City Hall because of the lease and the rent payment.
Yes, and they do that because it's an essential service. There's no way you're going to get rid of not pay the rent for your City Hall. There's also no way you're not going to do Public Works. But it shows good faith to the bond buyers that, wow, if they don't make this payment, they're going to lose their City Hall too. So they're going to make this payment.
Okay. Okay, and then who is the underwriter for the bond?
We won't know until we put out an RFP.
Okay, so that's the
That's
process. So
one of the-
what's the process from here? So we approve, or
So if you approve this tonight, we talk about the exact same thing in council meeting. I mean, if you notice, the
on-
documents are pretty
yeah.
much the same. We talk about this exact same thing in council meeting, we'll just go through that. We have a public hearing on December 6th.
December 6th, uh-huh.
In the meantime, between now and December 6th, we have a meeting with the Moody's to get our bond rating. And then we will be working on the preliminary official statement. They'll have my new financial to update it. And we will do an RFP for an underwriter.
And then what happens on February 6th, 2020?
So then in January, we'll sell the bonds.
Okay,
I can't remember exactly what date. And then in February, we'll close.
okay, so that's the closing. Okay.
What was our last bond rating?
Double A3, which is basically, I mean, the only higher one is the state and the county. They have a lot more taxing authority.
No, I was just curious.
So we're about as high as we can get. This one, usually because it's a lease revenue bond, it will be just one tick lower than the city itself. Because you could unrealistically say, no, we're not going to pay the rent. We're not going to.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
All right, seeing none, then we will move forward And I will take a motion.
Okay, I'll do the motion. I will move that we consider a resolution of the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City adopting a regular meetings, oh, sorry, that's the first item, I apologize. Consider and approve of the Municipal Building Authority of Murray City, thank you, Mayor, of Murray City, Utah, authorizing the issuance and sale of not more than $25 million aggregate principal amount of lease revenue bonds, Series 2024, and related matters.
And I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No.
Seeing none, Brooke, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Rogers?
Aye.
Ms. Cotter?
Aye.
Ms. Dominguez?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Arakisi?
Aye. All right, and that is the last item on our agenda, and we are adjourned, and we will move right into the city council meeting.
I would like to, thank you. I would like to welcome everyone to our city council meeting, November 14th, 2023. Just a reminder to turn off your cell phones or take your phone call out in the hallway. I'd like to welcome all council members are here tonight. Jennifer Kennedy, our Executive Director, Brooke, the Mayor, and GL. Thank you for your attendance. Tonight we're going to have our pledge be conducted by Adam Hawk. If you would like to come to the podium and do that, thank you.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, seeing that there's no approval of minutes, we'll go on to our special recognition. Murray City Employee of the Month is Kathy Miller, Mayor's Office Administrative Assistant. The mayor and I will be meeting Kathy up here to the podium.
Thank you. Hi, Kathy, come on up. Kathy, let me tell you, most of our employees are like this. They'd like to stay in the background, but we like to embarrass them and bring them forward. So, and Kathy, let me tell you, you all know I'm kidding what I say. Kathy asked if she could be nominated, and so we all know that is so far from the truth. Kathy, let me tell you, so I've had the opportunity to work with Kathy for a couple of years. She's never late on ever setting an appointment. She's never missed. She doesn't miss things. She just is really, really good. And I think what probably, all that's great, and it helps us. I mean, she runs my life. So, Cindy, sorry, you don't run it, but Kathy runs it. But I'm here to tell you, Kathy, in my opinion, the most important thing that an administrative assistant like this, especially in our office, is she's very private, never reveals anything, keeps everything. She's not a talker out there visiting. That's hard sometimes because you want to be able to talk to somebody and be able to express certain things, but Kathy she's very confidential. And that's huge for us. So that's a great honor for us to have Kathy in our office. Kathy has been here, I honestly thought, I said to Doug today earlier, I said, well, Kathy's been here 8, 10 years. He said, Kathy, how long you been here? And she's 4 years. I was thinking she was here, she was mid-year during Mayor Camp's term. And then the best thing we ever did is kept her on board. But she is a seasoned, it's almost like she's been here for, 20 years. And she just has that ability, never gets frustrated, ever. And there are many times that she could be frustrated when we have someone come in that's upset. And I've watched her in action, and she just doesn't, if they bother her, she doesn't show it. And so she's a great example. For a resident or an employee to ever come in, She just never gets upset, always accommodates the resident or the employee or whoever's coming in to visit, and runs, really, she runs our office, so we owe her a lot. I wish we could pay you more, but we can't, so, but we have $50 for you, Kathy. And that is not, would you please help me, Pam, get that off? Oh, good luck. Pam can't do it. Look at her. So anyway, kids, or your family, all back there, this $50 is not for you. I just want you to know. She loves you, she appreciates you, but this is going to be spent on her. I know Kathy, she's going to buy you dinner or something with it. But anyway, so without further ado, we just want to tell you how much we appreciate you, Kathy. You're awesome. This is from the council and the administration. And I love, Pam looked at me and said, do you want me to help you? And I'm going, you get the paper clip with the 50. And then, yes, I'm going to have Pam do the rest, but I just want to, no, I want you to do this. I want you to be part of it. Come on. So anyway, I just want to say how much we appreciate Kathy. Thank you for all you do. So let's give her.
Don't you go anywhere. So it says, I am nominating Kathy Miller for the Employee of the Month Award for her exceptional contribution, outstanding performance with our team. Kathy has consistently demonstrated a strong work ethic, dedication, and a positive attitude towards her work and colleagues. Furthermore, Kathy consistently goes above and beyond her job responsibility. She is always willing to assist others, especially those who call the mayor's office with seemingly impossible questions or requests or don't know where or how to share their concerns. Kathy contributes positively to team dynamics. When she takes vacation time, we are lost. She keeps Mayor Hales looking good. With her preparation and ability to discern the necessities of meetings for him, Kathy is deserving of recognition as Employee of the Month. Congratulations. And thank you for putting on those mayor lunches in the park. Yes, they're fabulous.
Will you introduce your family, please?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you bet. So my husband Mike in the back, and then Josh, yep, Alex, Emily, and Grant, who comes with Emily. And we love Grant too. And I have one more daughter who's in California right now on a mission. So thanks to them for coming, and thank you for saying all those really nice things.
Easy.
You came up with a lot of things. That was pretty cool. But honestly, all of the people that I work with have made my job really easy, and I've learned how to do a good job by watching everybody around me. So thanks to all the support from all the staff members. Thank you.
Okay, on our next agenda part of special recognition, we are consider a joint resolution of the mayor and Murray City Municipal Council recognizing National Hispanic Heritage Month in Murray City, and Councilwoman Rosalba Dominguez will be taking over this part.
Thank you. I'm just going to stand up here, or sit up here while I talk. We know that this is a little off timing, but we did want to recognize it since it was already written, and I had an illness last month to finish it off and finish the ending of Hispanic Heritage Month. So let me go ahead and read the joint resolution. A joint resolution of the mayor and Murray City Municipal Council recognizing National Hispanic Heritage Month in Murray City. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Month began as a commemorative week when Congress passed Public Law 90-48 on September 7th, 1968, officially authorizing and requesting the president to issue annual proclamations declaring September 5th and 16th to mark the beginning of National Hispanic Heritage Week. President Lyndon B. Johnson issued the first Hispanic Heritage Week presidential proclamation the same day. And whereas on August 17, 1988, President Ronald Reagan signed into law a bill to expand the commemorative week into Hispanic Heritage Month. And on September 14, 1989, President George H.W. Bush declared the period of September 15th to October 15th as National Hispanic Heritage Month. And whereas September 15th was chosen as kickoff date because it coincided with the Independence Day celebrations of 5 Central American neighbors, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua. Additionally, National Hispanic Heritage Month coincides with the dates in September in which Mexico, Chile, and Belize declared the independence on September 16, 1810, September 18, 1810, and September 21st, 1881, respectively. And whereas Murray City proudly recognized National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15 to October 15, 2023, in honor of the historic and cultural contributions of the Hispanic community in our city, state, and the United States. And whereas Hispanic Americans have been integral to the prosperity of the United States, their contributions to the nation are immeasurable. And they embody the best of American values. The Hispanic America community has left an indelible mark on the U.S. culture and economy. And whereas just as Hispanic Americans have impacted the United States, it is also true of the impact of Hispanic Americans in Murray City. And whereas many members of the Hispanic community trace their roots to the cultures and various groups, including the indigenous peoples of America, Spanish, and other European explorers, or to enslaved Africans who were brought to the Americas against their own will. And this isn't as long as the other resolutions as I've written, so we're almost there. And whereas Murray City recognizes the significant contributions by the Hispanic community in all parts of our society, including but not limited to economics, politics, sciences, healthcare, and education. And whereas the Hispanic community represents 10.9% of the population of Murray City and is an important and vital part of the fabric of our community. And whereas in 2023, there were close to 500,000 or more Hispanic residents in the state of Utah. And whereas the Hispanic community have served in all branches of armed forces and fought bravely to defend liberty and democracy in every war in the history of the United States. And whereas Murray City recognizes and honors the resilience of those in the Hispanic community who overcome discrimination and prejudice so that they themselves and their families could attain the American dream. And whereas in 2020, Hispanics from all corners of the state have participated and enjoyed commerce activities within Murray City, including the Fashion Place Mall. Go on a Sunday afternoon, you'll see. And whereas in 2020, the annual purchasing power of Hispanic Americans was estimated to be $1.9 billion, according to the accounting for 1.9 trillion. Accounting for the 11.1% of the U.S. buying power, which is an amount greater than the economy of all except 17 countries in the world. And whereas Mexico is one of the main trading partners of the state of Utah, benefiting families in both locations with the creation of job opportunities and exchange of knowledge and technology. And whereas there is not a comprehensive history of the considerable contributions of the Hispanic community in Murray City. Some stories we may never know, and some are yet to be discovered. And whereas there are extensive and significant achievements and contributions of the Hispanic community in Murray City, and whereas Hispanic Heritage Month is an opportunity to recognize Hispanic residents, business owners, organizations, and educators of Murray City. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and the Murray City Council that the city hereby recognizes the celebration of National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th and encourage the Murray City community to join us in celebrating the great contributions of Hispanic and Hispanic Americans to our city, state, and nation. And that's all.
Thank you. Okay, we'll proceed as forward. Do I have a motion to adopt this joint resolution?
I'll make a motion that we adopt a joint resolution of the mayor and the Murray City Municipal Council recognizing National Hispanic Heritage Month in Murray City.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
Okay, I have a first by Councilmember Gary and Councilmember David. Is there any discussions before we call a roll?
I would just like to include, lastly, last year we were able to celebrate a lot of families that have been based in community members within Murray. And in honor of them, just continue, to celebrate and support those families and businesses within Murray as they are striving and really, participating and giving back into our community as well. Yeah, please, Mayor.
I loved when you brought this last year. You had over at least 100, if not more.
They wanted to come back, but
I know.
it just happened, timing.
The
But
timing
don't
was
worry.
off. But it's a wonderful thing, and I'm glad you didn't have me read that, because I remember last time reading that, and I got a little emotional because of
Yeah,
my little bit of a connection with my dad. But anyway, I just want to make sure everyone knows I am on board and love this, that you bring this forth. And
Well, and I'll just say, one of the things that has been shared with me, and I would like to continue to look into this, and too bad Lori's not here, but is on the other side of the tracks was kind of the barrio and where a lot of people lived, and on the other side of the stacks. So that, in terms of community members, and I've heard it from many, many of my elders, and I would love to incorporate that. And that includes all cultures and communities as well.
I've already heard rumored that you have a group for us next year. For
Yes.
the amphitheater, which I'm excited.
And they're local
That's
based
the
dance
beautiful-
troupe here in Murray.
Is that they're local. And so when I heard that, I was excited. So
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to? Okay, then we'll start with a roll call. Thank you, Brooke.
Mr. Mingus,
Oh, aye.
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Mr. Arakisi,
Aye.
Mr. Rogers,
Aye.
Ms. Cotter.
Aye. Thank you, Rosalba.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very lovely. Okay, now we will go on to our citizen comments. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Step forward to the microphone, state your name and city of residence, and then fill out the required form that Patty has. Oh, there she is. Patty has the form, so you may come forward now.
This is intimidating. Sherry, you may need to go down the list. Sherry Van Bibber, Murray City citizen. What else?
You got it all.
B positive blood.
Yep, residents, yep, and that, you got it.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay.